round 2 on the play. Hand has removal, and that's it. But again, I think this is just a keeper. I don't mind fetching an island turn 1. We have Urborg to just fix all our black mana, and we have Havens for the white mana. So our mana's good. It's just a matter of whether or not they're playing something where removal is actually good against them. But if they are playing a control deck, then we have a 5-lander and a Crux that can kill a dragon. So the ultimate price is probably dead. This against something like mono red would be pretty bad, but I don't think that you can mulligan aggressively if you don't know for sure that your opponent's on mono red. So we're getting Thoughtseize off of Landways, so probably some Abzan deck. And whatever, man. Your Thoughtseize hits a somewhat relevant card, but not really. So I'm not too upset about it. Hopefully we can draw something like Anticipate or a Counterspell or a Dig Through Time once it becomes relevant, and we'll be okay. Would also accept Ojutai. Card is quite good. I would expect them to take the Crux here, but maybe as a Courser or something. And Temple of Deceit's kind of like an Anticipate. Foul Tongue, that's got to be good, right? Could just be Abzan aggro, in which case the removal spell would be good. If it was Abzan aggro, I don't think you would think about the ultimate price, though. Like, he would just take Crux. Unless he was writing it down or something, then I could see, just taking a little bit, but I would expect Abzan control. That is my guess. If that's the case, maybe 2 removal spells aren't going to be good, but so here comes a Courser. Temple of Melody on top. We have a Silumgar of Scorn, which is great. He did not see it off the Thoughtseize and will probably curve out accordingly. So even Scorn as a Force Spike generally ends up being pretty good. So now we have 2 things that he doesn't know about. So I think if he plays a Rhino or a Courser, I'll Foul Tongue that, and then hopefully try to Scorn an Elspeth or something. But I think it is worth it to save the Scorn. And I'm just going to cast this right now because I could draw something like Dig Through Time. Obviously, I could draw a Dragon and actually gain the value off the 4 life, but I think it's better to just play it, especially since I'm not in dire need of the 4 life. And we just drew another Backwater, so. And here comes a Courser. Alright, so that didn't work out quite as planned. Would have ended up better if I would have scorned the Rhino and saved the Foul Tongue, but I don't expect these decks to have too many creatures. So generally I like to save the Counterspell instead of the removal spell. And we need a Dig Through Time stat. Another Scorn is not what I'm looking for. Get out of here. And he's hitting running lands off his Courser, which is pretty nice. I'm a little jealous. Wish I could get all that value. Yield to that thing, because it'll probably be in play for a while. Abzan Charm, draw 2. Gets an Elspeth and a Temple. Sidisi Undead Vizier on top, which is a pretty good card. And we have a useless Bile-Blight. So he is just flush with cards, basically just running us over. We haven't drawn too much action, so sometimes this happens, Deck is 27 mana sources, and a lot of cards that are somewhat dead in certain matchups, so just part of the risky run. Yeah, Sidisi's in there. Gets the play around scoring for free. Yeah. Which is smart. I mean, at this point, if you have a 5-drop that's really impactful and a 6-drop that is very impactful, chances are, somewhat likely that in the last few turns I've actually drawn a Scorn. And if I haven't, then whatever. You're still developing your board and doing powerful things, so I will spike this Thoughtseize. Presumably the card he tutored for, otherwise he probably would have led with Thoughtseize. But he was just trying to clear the way for Elspeth anyway, so it doesn't really matter. He was going to Thoughtseize the Scorn no matter what. And we have an Anticipate. It's a little late. Find a Crux and an Ojutai, so play Ojutai into Elspeth. That seems not great, but we do have enough mana to just replay Ojutai on the following turn, thanks to our Haven. So it is still worth grabbing and playing. I think the only way I win is actually to try and connect with this Ojutai, but he's got plenty of cards and presumably some removal in his hand, but just gotta do what we can to try and win the game under most circumstances. Even if it's like very likely he has a removal spell or two. I think if our draw dictates that we just can't play around that stuff, then it's fine. We'll try and win the game, but most likely expecting to lose. But it's kind of nice. We're in this free zone where we don't have to worry too much because we can't really play around anything. We can't really afford to. So, and at this point, we are basically resigned to losing. So if it's like, oh, he has a removal spell, I don't get upset. It's not like, oh man, he had to have it. Oh, is this an Ugin? Jesus, that's big. Then he gets to exile it. If he -5s. Oh, he's just gonna dome me. Whew. Okay. And this is just combat damage to a player, unfortunately. So we can't attack his Ugin. We find another Anticipate and some useless stuff, so we'll pick up that Anticipate. Try and find a downfall or something. Anticipate into an Anticipate. Now we're just like losing mana, trying to find stuff. Now we have dig through time, so we'll play this. If we find a downfall, we can kill Ugin and go to 2 off Sidisi. So almost certainly dead, but whatever. We just gotta do what we gotta do. And that's a bunch of nonsense. So we died. We eventually changed some stuff together, but it was a little too late, unfortunately. Alright, the pre-rogs, the strokes. My own Ugin is not bad. Foul Tongue's fine. And some amount of discard spells want to come in, so Bile Blights are definitely not great. Crux, not great. Prices are okay to bad. He has Sidisi and Courser. I'm not sure in what capacity Sidisi is in his deck. Like, if he has the Wayfinders, then these Foul Tongues are pretty horrendous, and price would be better. So I'm not sure how to really proceed from there. Generally against Abzan, I don't mind one ultimate price. So we can go Foul Tongue. Not sure how many discard spells I want. I could also take or leave this Ugin. Has the capacity to clean up a lot of messy board states, but it also just might not be a thing that we need. So we have a bunch of counter spells for his big stuff. Maybe we don't need as much discard, although I would really like to use a discard spell on things like Thoughtseize, Read the Bones, Abzan Charm, whatever. So we'll try with no Ugin. And 3 Foul Tongues and an ultimate price. I think that looks fine to me. Yeah, this sounds pretty great. Again, going to lead on Backwater, because say I scry into a land, do I actually want to keep that on top? I don't know. Depends how the next couple turns play out. But I would rather just give myself a draw step to peel one off, If I hit a land, maybe I ship a 5th land. And our opponent is deep in the tank. Eventually decide to stay on 6 cards. And we got some more temples. Alright, so definitely would have scry to keep that on top. So now we kind of get a free scry here. We have 3 cards that are going to trade with our opponent, so Dig is pretty close to being live, and like you saw last game, Dig is certainly one of the cards that we want to draw. You know, we just trade 1 for 1 a bunch, and now we're getting Thoughtseized, so it's pretty tough to punch a hole with Thoughtseize when I have 2 counterspells, especially since he's on the draw, so he can't like play Courser under something like Dissolve. But I can see him just taking Dissolve, or maybe the Foul Tongue, and making me keep mana open. And yeah, he just takes the unconditional removal spell, basically. So now we can... I think we just play the Swamp, because if he plays Courser, we can Foul Tongue him, and not waste our turn, basically. And we're in no rush to get this ETB tap land into play untapped. And it also gives us a reason to wait another turn before we scry. So I think it all works out. He does nothing and then wants to upkeep Abzan Charm. That's acceptable. I'm not happy about it, but it is what it is. And Dissolve is great. Delta for my turn is great because it's another card for Dig Through Time. So things are looking up. I don't mind my spot right here, but obviously Abzan is a deck with a bunch of powerful cards, and he's got a full grip. So I would like to ideally trade some more, fire off this Dig Through Time, maybe find a Dragonlord's Prerogative, and hopefully just overwhelm him from there. So he is light on lands, it appears. He's going to Abzan Charm here to try and find one. And if he bricks, I'm going to like my spot a lot, but he actually finds one. So now gets to make his land drops, just played 2 Divinations effectively. It's pretty low on life, but unfortunately have no way to capitalize on that with my fatty dragon deck. Speaking of fatties, this guy, super fat. Just the laziest. Reminds me of one of my cats, actually. So this game, despite basically nothing happening, has actually been kind of eventful. You know, like my early turns, I had a lot of decisions to make. He's just been trying to like sculpt his hand and hit his land drops. And I expect some fireworks to actually start happening within the next couple turns when he starts playing out some rhinos and whatnot. So he never played a Courser into my Foul Tongue, which is wise, considering he knew I had a removal spell. Just content to play Abzan Charms instead, which is fine. So now he could have a Courser still, in which case I might want to keep the Dissolve if, you know, his hand is like 2 Coursers, but with Dig Through Time, I might also just want to blow the Dissolve so I get the more expensive counterspell out of my hand. So then there might be a turn where I can stroke something and cast Dig for super cheap. So I think I'm going to do that. And I'm going to crack this fetch. I don't know. Maybe I should keep the fetch in play, actually. But do I want a second Dig Through Time? I'm guessing no, but the answer could certainly be yes. So if I get Thoughtseized or something, I'm obviously going to want this Dig. But I don't have a lot of stuff going on in the graveyard area. So it might be a ways off from casting it, but it is probably one of the cards I want. Second Fatty Dragon is... I'll definitely trade that for a Dig Through Time right now. I would snap off that trade, but... What I really want to do is hit an untapped land so I could stroke and dig in the same turn. And now we're locked into either casting Stroke or casting Dig. He plays a Caryatid, which I could not care less about. Does eat my Foul Tongue. Maybe lets him play out a Rhino here with a little protection. And there it is. So I could go like stroke him, foul tongue him. Next turn, dig on the cheap. Alternatively, I could just dig now for 5 and start Silumgaring this Rhino. But then I'm committed to like tapping out and leaving stroke down. So that doesn't seem like the best idea either. So I could also just like not counter this Rhino and not care about it. That's certainly an option too. I'm going to gain 4 life off this Invocation at some point. So maybe that's a good plan. It's hard to say. Hard to say. No, it's not. I'll just let this Rhino resolve. I'm more worried about something like Elspeth, and he plays Elspeth. I can Silumgar, kill his Rhino. So we're gonna dig. Going digging. Alright, so we find a Prerogative and a Scorn. Those are both great cards. Thoughtseize is something as well, but I think I'm just gonna sit on Scorn and Prerogative. Land, thank you. Now we're in pretty good shape. He's got 4 cards. Obviously, they could be awesome, but he might play a spell this turn, and then I'll have to counter it, so I don't get the Prerogative, which is going to kind of stink. But if he doesn't play anything that's worth countering this turn, then I get the Prerogative, draw a bunch of cards, and I should be pretty far ahead. So not too bad. Kitty Cat. I don't want to counter that. That's kind of a big game. Kitty Cats are good. I took out my Cruxes. So in order to beat that Kitty Cat, I would have to Invocation away all of his creatures, and then finally Invocation the Fleecemane Lion. I could just present a blocker like Silumgar. Silumgar is pretty big. So if I Prerogative, I go up to 9 cards, and then Draw Step is 10. Presumably I play a land down to 9, so I am probably better off just countering this, taking a turn off from trying to play this thing, and just kind of whittling his board down a little bit first, so I don't actually have to discard a bunch of the cards that I draw. Oh, and he does have Satyr Wayfinder. Oh, I should have foul-tongued him in response. That was bad. That was my plan, too. Why would I do that? He does have Tasigur. And he ends up with Temple of Silence, which he plays, so I don't need to worry about that anymore. Now I just want to foul tongue him, and I should have done this before, maybe. Maybe he'll just sack the Caryatid anyway. Maybe actually clearing out the 1/1 might be better. I don't know. Feels bad to trade this for this, but he might. Yeah, he's going to sack the Caryatid anyway. So, no harm, no foul. So, scry into another scry land. Don't really need that. Did I board in Ugin? I don't remember. Ugin or Crux kind of seems necessary to clean away some of this nonsense. These lions and Tasigurs and whatnot. Ideally, I want to Prerogative into a Thoughtseize so I can see what he's working with. I don't regret really bringing in, not bringing in Duress, because it seems like his deck is more creature heavy than a lot of Abzan decks. Alright, so we do have a Thoughtseize. We had another Dig Through Time, which is fantastic, and another Thoughtseize. So we might just be golden here. Cut, Foul Tongue, and a Tasigur. So we can take these 2 removal spells, maybe stroke his Tasigur, cast another Dig Through Time. That seems pretty legit to me. So we're going to go pretty low in order to make this line. We're going to dig with 4 mana open. Alternatively, we could just jam Dragon Lord, but I don't like that play. I don't like it. Yeah, I'll just play the Haven. Not a big deal either way. Maybe we get mind rotted or something. You know, we want to discard our worst land. Maybe we want our best land in play. So I don't really see an upside to digging now. I could find a removal spell to kill the Rhino and not take a bunch of damage, but I'm going to want to not use that removal spell anyway because I want to counter his Tasigur. Oh, Fleece Mainline. Come on, man. All right, now we want to hit a Scorn pretty badly, I think. Oh, we have an Ojutai, another Prerogative. Now we might just be far behind enough that this Lion beats us. Obviously, Ugin would be good too, but like I said, don't remember if I actually brought that in or not. I'm guessing I did not. Because I think I shaved some stuff at the end, but maybe we'll draw Ugin. It'll be a nice surprise. Alright. So he's still got a Tasigur. We're going to banditize this Rhino here. He's going to monsterify his cat. And then, assuming no shenanigans, you know, if he just bricks one time, that'd be phenomenal. I'll be able to turtle up behind Ojutai, and we're short on casting Prerogative as well, which is kind of a shame, but if he hits a removal spell this turn, we are just dead. These cats are giving me a decent amount of trouble. No, don't lead with black mana. The rest... now he gets to resolve Tasigur. Use that once. I think he has enough bad cards, though, that it shouldn't matter all that much. Now we can F6, though, because we have no plays. So when he activates Tasigur, can't give him a removal spell. Probably give him Elspeth. Maybe. Yeah, this game is clutch. Maybe I derfed around a little too much. Maybe this is the matchup where you need the downfall instead of the invocation, just because they might have things like Caryatid or Wayfinder, but... Alright. So, can't give him Rhino, because we're at 3. Can't give him Abzan Charm, because he'll kill our Silumgar and kill us. Could potentially give him Elspeth, because that's basically the only card. So, enjoy that Elspeth. So we drew another stroke. That's cool. I have 2 blockers. He has one thing that can get through. So we can play an Ojutai this turn. I could also attack for 3 with Silumgar if we're so inclined and go down to 1. I'm not sure if that's going to matter or not, though. I think it will. Maybe we just need to play Prerogative this turn and hold. And I'm willing to believe that that is the case. Could use another Foul Tongue, for sure. And we've only gone through one. Ah! Stop drawing magic cards. I need blue mana and one other. I think it's just best to scorn this. So we can activate Tasigur, get something back, which might be a Thoughtseize, which would take our stroke. Okay, this is kind of weird. Block and block and kill your Tasigur, because Death Touch is great. Okay, Tasigur died. That's sweet. Stroke this Elspeth. See what's cooking with this Anticipate. Find another Anticipate, as we normally do. We are quite good at doing that, in fact. Stroke Downfall Ojutai. So, if we play Ojutai, would we rather have the one life from Backwater or the Delta for Stroke? I think we want Stroke open. But say I play Delta and Ojutai and attack with like Siege Rhino, keep two guys back. If he draws like a Downfall, I just die. But if I have... So I can try and fade a removal spell or fade a Rhino. Because if I play the Backwater, then I can still chump Lion with Ojutai and not die. I think all outcomes are me attacking with Siege Rhino, so we can just do this, get it out of the way. Alright, what do we try to fade? I think Backwater's safer. I think it's safer. Ugin and Rhino kill me, as opposed to any removal spell. I guess Stroke plays around Murderous Cut, but he can't have too many Murderous Cuts. I think it's just the one. And I did not bring in the Ugin. Okay. So that is definitely getting back in there. These Lions are an issue. Foul Tongue is not super great because he has Wayfinder. Might just want Cruxes instead of these Foul Tongues. I want like all Foul Tongue, I think. Price probably sucks. I'll play Abile Blight to kill a Lion, I think. And then what do I want to do here? I have so much high end. And he's respecting Silumgar, has a bunch of removal spells. So I think I have to cut one of these because it clogged up my hand that game. I think I just want more interaction and card drawing, and like we can just win that game. And that looks good to me. A little weird, but maybe I don't want both Cruxes. Maybe I just want one. Yeah, this hand is way too much high end. I think I have to keep, though. It's so bad. I just need to draw lands. Is that hard? Is that difficult? Yeah, I don't like mulliganing against Thoughtseize decks, really. Like, our hand is close, and if he Thoughtseizes us, it's whatever, because all our cards are the same except for the Stroke. But If we make it into this portion of the game, I think we just crush him. So I think he just has to take my stroke. Oh, he took the crux. Interesting. We drew another useless dig through time, so that's not great. Off to an auspicious start here. He's probably going to play a lion. And just give us the beatdowns. So, Thoughtseize in a lion. Difficult to beat. What are you going to do? We'll just play this caves. He knows about it. Don't really know what I'm going to need with this Delta. It might be another black if I draw a Bile-Blight. So, but I don't want to go play Delta, have to stroke something, and then draw Dissolve after I fetch a black or something. So, yeah, sure, man. Now you can take my stroke, I suppose. We're a card away from digging next turn. Hopefully you can just draw a Bile-Blight, get some breathing room. Foul Tongue would obviously be great too, but don't have many of those left in our deck. And he doesn't have a third land, so alright, we might have a shot. I can't fetch a swamp here because I need 2 islands. So we have to... do we have to Thoughtseize? I guess we kind of do if we want to dig next turn. Courser, Downfall, Tasigur, Elspeth. We gotta bin this Tasigur because that's coming out soon. So Downfall, Elspeth, Courser, and our shot is, or our spot is not the worst. Anticipate. Island. Dig main phase. Try and hit some Landos. Temple of Deceit and a Crux. That's pretty reasonable to me. It could also be Temple of Deceit Delta, since then I could just cast Ojutai. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Dismal Backwater. You can get a little greedy and ship that one. Don't want our 6th land to come in and play tapped. Ooh, Foul Tongue. Well, our opponent's mana screwed, so we're probably going to win this game. So now do we... Yeah, we just play Ojutai. This is not a question. Could have his own Foul Tongue, and then we don't get value on ours, and we take a decent chunk of damage, but... Going to... maybe I should attack first. No cut, no cut, no cut. If you downfall, I don't care, because I already got my 2-for-1. Stroke, dig, Haven. Haven's probably a pretty good one. Certainly don't need dig. Stroke would be kind of nice, but I think we're just going to take the Haven. And we shall give him a Foul Tonguing. I'm willing to believe that Prerogative is too slow in this matchup. Maybe I should only be bringing 1 in. Yeah, that's cool, man. Just get her right back. I'm pretty sure trying to establish Ojutai is better than anything else. Like, he's super low and basically needs to keep mana open at this point, which I don't think he can afford to do. If he was not going to keep mana open, he should have played Courser this turn. Unless he has a Foul Tongue. In which case, good beats. Alright. Now we have the Scorn. Anticipate, try and hit a land drop. Thoughtseize is also acceptable. We're at 7, which is not the highest, but that's certainly doable. So I'd rather have a Thoughtseize. I could go Thoughtseize with Force Spike. Alternatively, dig end of turn. I could see just wanting the downfall too, honestly. Yeah, I'm going to take the downfall. That doesn't cost me 2 life. And it costs him a turn, so it's probably worth it. I'm mostly worried about him playing like untapped land, Siege Rhino, or, you know, Duress is pretty good too. Yeah, I'll just let that slide. If he takes the dig, it's kind of whatever, because I have 2 prerogatives waiting still. I'm pretty flush with card drawers, so you can try and clear the way for something by taking Scorn or Downfall, but I have multiple copies of everything, basically, so it's not worth, like, digging in response, for example. Yeah, I think only one opportunity is supposed to come in here. One prerogative. And Courser comes down after he plays the land, so he doesn't get Force Spiked. And now we go on a digging expedition. Keep that Ojutai in there in case we have future havens, which we do have, which might be nice. I'm not going to take this Ojutai, I don't think. I think I'd much rather just have some lands. Or maybe I'm supposed to take Haven. Oh, yeah, I'm supposed to take Ojutai, I think, because of Scorn. So I can take Haven, Ojutai, put all these lands on the bottom, and then have 6 mana with Prerogative and maybe a Scorn. And if he plays something that I have to Scorn, like, say, Jams Elspeth or whatever, then I can still anticipate and try and get something for next turn. But ultimately, I would like him to be like, oh, I don't want to play anything into his counterspell, so I'll just pass, and then I get to Prerogative. But highly doubt that's going to happen. So Drew Windswept Heath, Duress on top. And we are down to 5 life points. Oh no, that's a Rhino. We're going to see what's going on in response. I think no matter what, I'm going to end up scorning this thing. Well, never mind. Now I probably just stroke it. Yeah, that seems better. So now he has Elspeth in hand, Duress on top. And I just have to beat those cards. So if I play Ojutai, he is going to play Elspeth and kill it, which stinks, because then he has an Elspeth in play. We can buy some time with a Bile Blight, but ultimately I think my best plan is to just gain a life and play Prerogative. Although I guess my downfall, one of my downfalls is gone. So might be digging for Ugin at this point. It's also possible he just doesn't hit a land, so he can't Duress and Elspeth in the same turn. So yeah, there's a Wayfinder. He's probably going to crack his Heath for a forest, try and find an untapped land. Yeah, this game's super tight, but it ultimately comes down to, like, his spells have been cheaper, so I haven't been able to empty my hand of all these spells. Okay, Sidisi, cool. So Duress Elspeth in hand, and can't play both this turn, so I can either Scorn it or what have you. So he might Duress me and just pass, and I hope that's the case. But yeah, jamming Elspeth is good too, because then he makes it so I can't play Prerogative this turn. If I knew my top 5 cards had an Ugin and an untapped land, I would just let this resolve. But it's not really the case. Not really the case. Alright. Now we are in Jam Ojutai territory. And he gets to place a DC. He gets to duress me and place a DC even. Rhino on top, though, is still pretty good. I think he's supposed to place a DC and get Murderous Cut. Because now, if he places a DC, he just dies to my Ojutai. Yeah, so last game I had Silumgar's rotting in my hand for a while. This game I had Prerogatives rotting in my hand. So I think there's just like too many 6s. I don't think I need these many 6s in my deck. It's certainly been a fun match, though. Okay. You have to sax a DC and try and hit an untapped land, I guess? Or no, just a land? What? You just die? That's not how that works. Oh, I found my Ugin. Alright, attack you. GG! That was interesting. Yeah, don't bring in both of these against mid-range decks. Just don't do it. You don't have time for this stuff. But yeah, 2-0. Game's been pretty good, I think, and looks pretty good too.